There we are.
Here we are. Hi.
Ooh.
Hi, Permission
Hi.
Granted Friends.
Hi. What's that?
Hi, Permission Granted Friends. Happy Friday.
Yay. Friday.
Cheers.
Cheers. What you drinking, Bethany?
I am drinking the Permission Granted margarita.
We do.
Oh my stars.
Delicious.
It's
High
really
five,
good.
Kate. It is really good. And we noticed that mine's a little lighter because I have this store-bought concentrate, the hibiscus concentrate, because I have no kitchen right now, just temporarily. So boiling water is a hard thing to do. So I had to skip a step and cheat a little bit, and I don't have as bold of color.
But it's good.
It's delicious.
Okay. Well, so there we go. Now we know a little bit. Okay, wait. I'm struggling
that way.
Clink. Oh, wait. Oh, clink. There we go. Zoom, or not Zoom. StreamYard is challenging because it's flipped. So one thing about StreamYard, you have to give StreamYard permission to use your name so that if you comment, we can say hi and we can know that it's you. Because we want this to be a little bit, engaging and all of that. We don't want it to just be simple.
Talk to us.
Chatting, although we do really like to do that. We really like
a little too much.
So give StreamYard permission so that when you say hi and you comment, we can know who's here and say hi. So if you don't know Rebecca, this is Rebecca Sutton, and Kate and I talked about this, and I'm always putting the wrong last name because I knew you first by your maiden name.
Yeah, years ago.
So we've known each other for 18
years because I graduated in 2002. So now everybody knows how old I am. I actually graduated late too. Yeah. And then we worked together. There was this little period of time.
Yep.
Between graduation, and I was thinking, I couldn't sleep last night, and I was like, how long did I work with you? How long did it wasn't very long.
No, I don't think so, but it's bizarre, guys, how much Rebecca and I have in common. We started talking at our jobs. I mean, because clearly we're both talkers, and every single conversation we would realize that we had another thing in common. What are you doing, Kat? It became comical.
It was hilarious.
It was bizarre. And so as things started taking off, I contacted you for my first round of logos when I was searching for kindling. You did that for me. And then we've had the opportunity to work together a whole lot more here recently with all of the permission granted stuff. And so it's been so much fun, so fun. I can't even articulate how fun it has been to work on this project with you.
It has been a blast because I remember when we first started working together, when you started, searching for kindling. I hadn't heard that phrase in a while. We got on the phone and it had been years since I had heard your voice. And it was just picking up where we left off. And now I think I went a day without hearing your voice. And I was like, I wonder what Bethany's doing today.
Okay. I'm glad to know that because I was like, I am so excited to talk to you because I feel like I haven't seen your face and talked to you. And I'm like, well, I don't want to bother her, and so, but I still probably do bother you because I'm like, oh my gosh, Rebecca, check this out.
No, I worry if I haven't heard from you. Is she okay?
Oh, I love that. But okay, yeah. So you might be stuck with me for a while.
Good.
Hopefully it'll be another 18-year span.
No, and so what people may not realize is we work together in southeastern Michigan. And how many state lines have we crossed since then? Because
true.
Now you've moved more than I have because I headed from Michigan out to Virginia and now in Ohio, and you've jumped.
I think I forgot it. I don't know if I knew about Virginia. Did I know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was only 2 years. We were there for 2 years. That's where Hannah was born.
Okay.
Yeah. They're right by DC.
Oh, okay. I know a lot of people that have spent time up there.
Yeah.
You don't always stay. Like sometimes it's shorter stints.
It's true. It's a wonderful city, and it was the right time in our life. And then
Fun.
it was a great place.
Yeah.
And then we've been here now for almost 13 years.
Gosh, I don't understand.
I told them I'd never come to Columbus.
And here you are. Cheers.
Here I am.
So yes, if you're just joining us, we are sipping on our permission granted margaritas that Kate Bolt, clink. Oh, see, I can't do it.
I know. I went off camera because I was trying to get to you.
Clink. That Kate Bolt did, and go to livinglark.com to learn more about her. But the permission granted recipe, you created cards for the recipe, and then I'm going to be sending them out with the first 200 orders of the book. And we're actually getting pretty close.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
You better hurry if you want one of these recipe cards.
Yeah. It's really, I love it because I feel like it's going to be good, like no matter what time of year. Like it's just like a perfect drink for no matter whether you're celebrating Christmas or a birthday in June or a girls' night out in April.
Yeah, make one for your mom on Mother's Day.
See, there you go. Matwana liked it too. It's not just for like the ladies.
Yeah, I have the extra over there for Jeff.
Yeah,
for later. He had to do a little work first, but
yeah, same. Matwana's gonna get the rest. So yeah, if you would like the recipe, I will send it to you with the book for the first 200 orders. So I'm really excited. I just picked them up yesterday from the printer, and they turned out really cute.
Okay.
So Rebecca is all things. She's done pretty much everything you've seen with permission granted. All of the graphics, all of the Giphy stickers, and the cover of the book, which you can see on my website, bethanyhoward.com. And also the inside, you did all the formatting for the inside as well. So I just wanted to, so you've been doing graphic design for like 18 years then?
Yeah, I've done a lot of different things, but graphic design has been the one consistent thing because it's what my degree is in. So it's good to be doing that. But in all different capacities, I've just to all different circumstances, I've had the opportunity to work for a lot of different types of companies. And then I've been freelancing ever since since having children, essentially. I've been freelancing and I've had some steady contracts and clients in the mix of that, as well as just a huge variety of projects. So, and then it's given me the opportunity to do some other types of work alongside that. So, yeah.
Awesome. What's your favorite, how has your passion shifted? Like maybe did you start out like loving one kind of graphic design and now you kind of like shifted? Has that happened? Has there been a shift for you?
Oh yeah, it goes through waves. Because when I started, I didn't really have, I just wanted a job. I just needed a job. And I had some really fun jobs at the beginning. And it was just about getting experience. And it was about being friends with the people I worked with. And I'm still friends with the people I worked with. And then as I sort of had to find my own, if you go to my website now, it's been a couple years since I've updated it, and you'll see a lot of special event things. And I've gone through phases where I've done a lot of special events like wedding invitations and baby announcements. And then I won't do it for a long time. And then there'll be another wave and I'll do it again. But branding and logos have been pretty consistent throughout all that. And I think that's still one of my favorite things. I do wayfinding and signage. T-shirts are so fun. I love t-shirts because you get to wear them. And it's not just the design, it's how they're going to look on different fabrics. So it has definitely shifted because now, being my own business, I kind of get to call the shots and how I'm going to run the business and how I'm going to work with my clients. And I can be as organic as I want to be because all of my clients are so unique and so special that I have to be able to adapt and listen and learn from them. So now it's really about helping people sort of follow their dreams. And, I get to dream their dreams with them. That's the best part. It's a huge part of my job is the listening. And I get to sit down and consult and listen and learn and find out what makes them tick, find out what they're passionate about, and somehow tie that to a visual. But that's just one part of it. It's sort of that coaching and encouraging and getting excited and just be there along for the ride and dream along, because there's honestly nothing better than when somebody sees their logo.
Oh my God.
For the first time, because I'll give, sometimes people get to see 2 or 3, sometimes it might be 8 or 9. It just depends on the individual. There's no one way to do it.
Yeah.
And the first time, like, they actually are like, this is it. It's such a good feeling, and it just keeps me loving my job. And I just had an email from a friend the other day too. She's like, it gave me the warm fuzzies.
Yeah. I mean, it was such a joy, like, working with you. And there were so many times that, there were times where I felt like I was struggling, and you kind of like encouraged me and helped me kind of like stay the course and not like freak out. But there were also like so many times that I did feel that like you were like in it with me. Like I've said, like, you served my audience as much as I did. And that is like, oh my gosh, like that's such a huge, huge gift. People pay like thousands upon thousands of dollars, and they might not have that. And so it was such a gift, really, to be able to work with you. And because I felt like you got it, what I was doing, and you got me. And like, I remember that moment when we were talking about the cover, kind of going back and forth, and you said, wait a minute, like something, like I got an idea. I got to go work on this. And like, what was it? Like, what happened in that moment where you're like, wait, I got to go work on this? What happened?
Oh my goodness. I feel like we had a few of those. But I remember I had sort of, I think we really feed off each other. Like, you get an idea, and then I'm like right on board, and then I kind of add to it, and then you add to it, and we get a little worked up, and it's really fun. But I know there was a moment too where I was working on the cover, and it was fun and I was excited, but it wasn't quite right. And one of the dangers of working with somebody that and that you're friends with is that you assume you know more than you actually do. As a designer, I was like assuming like, oh, I know Bethany. I've worked for her for years. I know she likes this and doesn't like this. And I had sort of made these assumptions, and I had to step back and do something I do the first time I meet a client and be like, I want you to send me your inspiration pieces.
We did.
And you sent me covers that you liked, and I had to sort of step back and be like, you don't know everything yet. Like, let this be more organic. So yeah, I mean, you are full of incredible insight and profound words. And a lot of times you'll say something and it'll just like click, it'll trigger something. And so I immediately like, I had these aha moments with you, and that's probably what was going on. And then I remember when all of a sudden I was like, shoes, Bethany, shoes.
Some things never change, I guess, right? So,
sometimes it's learning something new about somebody new, but then also it's just going right back to like the fundamentals. Like, so it's very fluid.
Such good advice. Like, I'm thinking about even like with my kids, with my husband, with my family, like just thinking, okay, well, gosh, like I might not know everything there is to know, or they might, like, as they grow, as they change, I might not, I mean, I know a little bit less then, like if I'm not paying attention and if I'm not taking a step back and asking some really good questions, that I'm going to be thinking about that for a while today.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when we first went into distance learning back in the spring, And I thought I knew how my kids were going to handle it. And there was a point where stuff was really frustrating. And I had to step back and be like, this is not, I don't know everything about my child. I need to learn from them. I need to listen. I need to just, I had to re-get to know them because we had never been in that situation. And I thought I knew how they would handle it. And same thing. We're always learning and we're always changing. So
yes,
learning.
And I have definitely been there myself, even like this week, just like, okay, like what are you feeling? Like, why are you feeling like it's like building up in you? Like, what's going on? Why are you feeling that way? Let's figure it out. And it's just, yeah, I feel like I had to do check-ins with myself just because.
Check-ins, yes.
Yeah, because I'm not always handling it really great myself. So it's been a learning experience for us all, for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. So speaking of creativity, Taylor Swift just put out a new album. So that's 2 albums in a year. Am I saying that right? 2 albums in a year? Right? I think so. I think. Yeah, 2 albums. So somebody that I follow on Instagram was just talking about how, creativity, yeah, she's creative in spades, but she also has the money, she has the means, she has the space to be able to just focus on this. And she may not be so much worried about, where her next meal comes from, or she may not be as worried about health insurance or getting sick. Maybe she's able to just kind of be in a room and not worry about anything else and write. And so I just feel like that's really a great conversation to consider. As we're talking about thriving in the midst of this, what are some, do you have any suggestions on like how, first of all, like we have to give ourselves grace, but what are some ways that even in the midst of trying times and hard moments and virtual schooling for many of us and all of those things, what are some ways that we can carve out time for creativity, or what are some creative like things that we can do that are like at the ready, like right there for us to be able to step into?
Oh boy, that's such a good question, because I think there's a lot of creative people that have like a formula. I mean, like, this is what I do. I set aside this time I have, but nothing is formulated right now. And so I think we have to really be open to inspiration coming from unconventional places and allow ourselves to be inspired in things that are not inspiring. So it's just really, really, and sometimes the other thing too is sometimes inspiration won't come for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because then when it does come, you're really going to appreciate it. Yeah. You just have to always be ready to be surprised by it. Be ready to be surprised by inspiration, because there's times too where I'm like, I have a deadline. I need my inspiration right now. Like, you got 2 hours. And I've just got to look under a different rock sometimes. It's just, I have a lot of notebooks, and this is a problem because I write things down in them and then I don't remember where I put them. And then I search through a different notebook. If you are more organized than me and you can keep one single notebook with you, it's a good idea. Sometimes I use the notes on my phone, the note section, and I will just like pour everything into that if inspiration comes, because then that is one central thing that I always have with me. But I doodle like crazy. So it's just being open, and don't expect it from the same place it came from last time, because it might come out of your kid's mouth. It might come out of something on a bumper sticker. It could be something you see out the window. It could be just, I don't know. It's just.
So I'm wondering if anybody's watching it, and if you're watching, you have to give permission to StreamYard for us to be able to see your name. But if I'm curious, what are some ways that you are pursuing creativity in the midst of all of the things that are happening? And it's okay if you're not. Like, it's okay if you're not, right? Like, some days all you can do is eat chips and Netflix, and that's okay. Some days I mean, I'm pretty sure that Taylor Swift has those days too. Okay. So
For sure.
For sure she does. For sure she does. But you're doing a good job. Whatever you're doing, however you're thriving, whatever you're doing a good job. And I want you to have grace for yourself because yeah, Taylor Swift put out 2 albums and that's awesome and that's good for her. But for me, maybe some days my creativity comes from, remixing some leftovers and coming up with a brand new meal. Like sometimes that's as creative as it gets on a day. And that counts. For me, that counts. I'm like, ooh, okay, I can take this and I can remix this. And suddenly there's a brand new meal and everybody's happy. Well, most of us. I mean, that's too much to ask, I think, really, Rebecca, that everybody would be happy at the same time with the same meal, right? I mean, I feel like that's
right. Right. We're just right now, we have to get really creative with our kitchen.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, and sometimes it's realizing that something that might be creatively satisfying for one person may not be the same for somebody else. And this is like, I feel like it was Kendra who talked about this a little bit, like when she was trying something new every day. And sometimes it was like, okay, I did it, but that is not for me. And that's okay. So
she made her shut up.
And she's like, not for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's okay. Some people really love the topic. And I went back and I re-listened to different portions of that chat too, because it's okay. Like creativity. Like for me, I'm thirsty for it. And if I have, like right now, I can't decorate until we get this kitchen done. And it's like, I want to put up my decorations. And this is only our second Christmas in this house. So I still am like trying new things. And it's hard for some people could care less. Like that's somebody else's job and that's okay. So if creativity is not your thing, that's why there are other creative people out there to help you. But I just printed off some prints that I had made like a year ago over at Staples and quickly put them in frames because I had to do something. I had to do something for me because I'm always, my job, both jobs.
Yeah.
I'm being creative all the time as it is, but it's always somebody else's. And sometimes I have to be creative for myself.
Yes. I mean, yeah, we have to, it's important to save time for that. Cause we can take care, making sure the kids are happy, making sure everybody's happy. And then sometimes, I'm like, okay, everybody, let's, like right now there's ornaments sitting out for them to decorate the tree in our neighborhood. So they're like feeding the birds and stuff. And I'm like, okay, if y'all don't make these, I'm going to be the one making them because this sounds like fun to me.
Yeah.
So, it may happen. I may be making birdseed ornaments at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be happening. So what was the most fun, what was the funnest part about working together for you?
All of it. It was because, so this is such a unique project and if you're just getting to know Bethany and her work, it's every time I sat down with it, it was like self-care. So there were a few things, like it was fun because it was inspiring work. Like inspiration was inspiring, your words were inspiring what I was doing. It was just, and that's true with all of it, but that is sort of a lot of the motive behind your work is to inspire. Yes. So, I don't feel like I said that quite right. But it was like self-care while working. It was not exhausting. I would lose track of time. But truly, okay, so the funnest part was definitely like, I think we need to check in on Zoom. Let's just quickly chat on Zoom. And like 2 hours later, the kids are hungry. like, oh, we've been talking for a while. Yeah. It was just like getting to kind of catch up and connect because I think that connection, and we talked about this too, like not just hiring somebody to do a job, but really connecting to
Yeah.
get the message across, to really make this thing sparkle and shine, was about connecting. And it was fun.
It was, I mean, that was kind of like the funnest part for me, just because, like, I remember one point you were just like, no, like, this project is important. It matters. Like, it needs to be done right as we can do right now with the budget and all of those things. Like, you just kind of kept pushing me I mean, you pushed me outside my comfort zone, but within the boundaries of the budget. And
Hopefully.
for the most part, but it was because, like, I mean, there's been a few times in my life, I think, when somebody like gets you, and it's such a gift. Like, it's something I will treasure in my heart forever. Just that when somebody understands who you are and what you're about and says, yes, I'm going to help you do this. It's like the best thing. It was so fun. I was like, oh,
That's so fun.
This isn't really work. I mean, yeah, there was one time I think that we were Zooming, talking through some stuff. And then, like, before I know it, I was like there's darkness, like, falling over you. Like, you're like, oh,
the sunset.
Where did the sun go? So I was wondering if you have a favorite piece in the book.
Yeah, and you know this, because I mean, I've been reading your stuff since the get-go, and there was one that kind of just stopped me in my tracks one day, and it's "You Are Beauty." And there were a couple lines that I was just like, oh, I don't want to be a spoiler. There were a couple lines that I was just blindsided by, and it's one of your shorter pieces. I think I was just looking at it again before I talked to you this afternoon, and it's not very long, but it packs a punch. And then I shared it with my girls. I have two daughters. I shared it with them, and they both had two very genuine, different responses to it too. I'm like, this is like, it speaks to everybody, and it spoke to them in different ways. And it's definitely one that's going to get, like, hung up. And yeah, and we did a pull quote, like, we did a little graphic to go with one of the lines from that one too, but every line in that one was just like a bite of cheesecake. Each line had so much to savor in it.
Love that.
So yeah.
And you know what? I'm excited about that one. There's a few that are in the book that no one has seen. Like, nobody else has seen these pieces yet. Some of these pieces you can find, whether I've posted them on my blog or Facebook. Some of them you can find. Some of these no one has seen yet. So I'm really excited to kind of gauge and see how people respond to these. It's kind of bizarre to think about. It's a little scary and it's exciting. It's all of the things. So the book that you helped bring to life, that you helped design the cover and the format on the inside, it has over 30 poems, but it also has space and prompts to Andrea. I'm so glad you're here. She loves that that line you said, that each line was like a bite of cheesecake. So much to say. That's awesome. I'm so glad you're here, Andrea. Shoot, what was I saying?
There's 30 poems, but 136 pages. 138 pages.
So I asked you in preparation your favorite piece, which you shared with us, and then I asked about your favorite layout. Which one was your favorite layout?
I have a couple, because it was important to me that, like, the poems got their own space. And then there's sort of the journaling section, because I wanted the poems, like the cheesecake thing, like, you need to just pause and savor each line. There's one, Hello Dream. And I like that one just because it has one of the most simple graphics in there, but it just is like, I think it's so cute. It's just simple. I love simple. Oh, that's a fun one too. I forgot about that.
That's the other side.
That was kind of fun to brainstorm some possibilities on how you might take up your space.
That's the other way.
So, because I love simple, white space is very powerful. But then the other one because there's a story here. You are not alone.
You were not
And
alone.
that was, so we desperately needed to get this thing to press. And we were going through every little detail. And thank goodness for your editor who, Eagle Eye Alice, we call her. We were just going through, and this one page, it was missing something. And it was one of those bouncing back and forth moments where I'm on my design program and you're shooting me ideas. Were we texting? I don't even know. Because I think we can text and be on Zoom and email at the same time. And it was just like, there's a word for this and I don't know what it is. Serendipitous, maybe?
Oh, that could be. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I may be using words like.
No, that
okay. Because it was a very much this team moment and this sort of the sprint at the end of the marathon. And I told you, I'm like, I feel like I've got my signs ready for you. Like, come on, Bethany, we're almost there. And we were bouncing ideas back and forth. And when we realized it was right, it was like, we were emotional. And I said, I've never been emotional sending a file to press. Usually it's like, oh, good. I'm out. Move on to the. And I was genuinely emotional getting this thing to press. I think that last stretch, you are not alone, and I can't wait for y'all to read it. And so I immediately when you see it, you'll know what I mean. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. We're saving that one for reading the book, right?
Yes.
I immediately got online and ordered a little gift.
You did.
It was immediately after I hung up with you. I ordered. Yeah. I quickly got on there, and then
I love it so much. I'll take my out of it.
So that one is. I love that because there's a story there.
Yes. Oh gosh, so many good moments, so many good things. So to kind of wrap up our little conversation here, so
went too fast.
Okay. So one of the last things you designed for me was the permission granted margarita recipe card from Kate Bolt. So if the first 200 orders, that come in for the book, I'm gonna slide that in, and you will get the recipe for this yumminess. It's so good. It's so refreshing and easy.
Delicious.
It's so fun, and yeah, it's just a blast. And I think there's something to be said for like really diving into those moments when there's somebody that you connect with. And I feel like you never know when that's going to be. You never know what kind of conversation that's going to be. And I think sometimes it's surprising about, like, we hadn't worked this way ever. We'd never worked this closely on this big of a project. And yeah, it's been such a gift. So thank you. Thank you so much.
It's been the highest of honors, because there was times where I felt like I was, am I pushing her to do this self-publish, like this, not the printer, using a local printer and all that. Like, but I was just like, I can't let you settle. Not that there's always a place for some of the other options that we looked at. There is definitely a place for those, and I would recommend them. Quick, affordable, and when you self-up, you can still use your own designer. But for you, there were certain aspects that could not be accomplished with that route, and they were things that I just felt like, it was like there was just something. What was making your work really unique was something that called for a different format. And it's like, I'm not a pushy person, and I'm a very budget conscious person too. Yeah. But it was like, I can't let you settle. You've got really, really good stuff here, and this is not going to be the right. You need to make the right fit here, and so I had to be a boss lady. Like, here we go.
I know that, like, I need that, and I think actually, I think you and Matuan, my husband, are both like that type of a person. Like, because Matuan would say, no, we don't. Why are you still considering other options? Or why are you still, we've already decided, we already know what we're doing. Like, just go, move ahead. Just keep going. Just keep going. So it was, it was such a good balance of, like, you just kept reminding me, like, oh, well, wait, like, these are your priorities. Like, I know this looks attractive for a couple of different reasons, but these are the priorities that you've identified, that we've identified. And so it was a little bit of permission granted to say, no, like, this is what's right for me. Not that other ways are wrong, but
no, not at all.
I'm doing it. And to just go ahead and just kind of put blinders on. It's honestly, I just had to just like, no, this is what I'm doing. This is the decision that I've made, and this is the direction we're going. So I'm curious, as we wrap up, what is the way that you're leaning into permission granted right now? Having read the book, having read all the pieces, and spent probably way too much time with some of them for all of the work that you did. But I was just, where's a spot that you happen to lean in on permission granted?
It's a really unique question and I knew you were going to ask it, and I was like, oh, I don't have an answer. But I do have an answer for sure. For me right now in this place, it is micro permission granted for me.
Oh,
it's everything from, I think I told you, okay, good, for a sec. It's about just choosing to wear something that reflects my creativity one day, or, making a phone, it's a lot of micro permission granted. It's wearing the bracelet and just being reminded, you're like, yeah, just do that. Just be a little more bold. Post that. I'm very shy. You would never know it, but I truly am, because I'm in front of people all the time. So it's these micro permission granted moments where you're in the back of my head all the time going, permission granted, Rebecca. So I don't think I sent you the picture, but there was just like one outfit I chose that was 100% Bethany inspired, because I'm like, she would totally take this. And then it's also just embracing my current place in my career. Like, it's not time for me to make big leaps and bounds and big changes. That's not where I am right now, and that's okay. Yeah. But I get to help other people do that right now. And that's the best part of my job, is I get to be that person on the sideline with the sign, helping other people make their big dreams come true, or at least kind of giving them that little push, or that little, even if it's just a logo in a color scheme, just to like go for it. You've got everything you need. You can take these steps. So it's permission to thrive where I'm planted currently, and to be okay with these micro permission granted.
I love it. I'm kind of, for me, I feel like right now it's kind of like, Christmas is probably going to look a little bit different. And I just feel like I don't feel as much stress in some ways this year. And I'm not as concerned about like making sure all the decorating is like perfect and glorious. And for example, the wreath, the live wreath that we purchased for our front door when we bought our tree sat in the car for a week. Like, it just got left in there, just forgotten. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't really care.
It's all right.
It's like whatever. There's stuff kind of everywhere. And, everybody's working in different areas. There's kids everywhere all of the time. And now I'm setting up shipping station central. And so I'm just like, you know what? It's okay. And I'm just not going to worry about it. So I love your story. I love the micro permission granted, because sometimes one of the pieces talks about how bravery is, sometimes it's small steps. It's not big steps. And that's really, the same for permission granted. Sometimes it's not like, okay, well, I'm going to go and tackle this thing today. Sometimes it's just like, some days it's like, I'm going to get dressed today. I'm going to feed myself healthy things. I'm not going to open up the bag of chocolate, Bethany. No, you're not opening up the bag of chocolate. So yeah, I just, it's a good reminder that there's small things. Like I'm hoping to get out for a walk today, and that's one of my micro permission granted because I know that it's going to be good for me. Like I'm going to feel better afterwards, even if I don't really want to do it. So yeah, I'm just really, I'm excited because there's going to be more projects in the future, I think, because
yes.
it was such, I mean, it was just so fun to like work with you and like my brain. That's something I've noticed for somebody who's a 9, like putting a book together and getting a book out is like a huge deal. I'm a 9 and on the Enneagram, if somebody's unsure what that's about.
Yeah.
So it's a huge deal. And so I'm realizing like I've known this, but I'm remembering it again and again that as I'm creative, as I'm working, as I'm thinking, like it just keeps happening. Like it just, the ideas keep coming. Whereas if I stay stuck, stay stuck. Like that's just it. I'm just stuck. But so that's been a really fun realization here recently. So thank you for your time today, joining me for this permission granted happy half hour.
Thank you.
So much.
Honestly, it's really hard to stay at a half hour. Well, it's been 40 minutes now, but
yes, 40 minutes is really like our half hour. Like
we're not used to, it's like a baker's dozen. We're not really used to small, short.
No, we are not. We are not. And there's been some really amazing, beautiful things that have come out of working with you. So thank you for all you did.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for inviting me on this journey. It has been delightful every step of the way.
So fun. Me too, for sure. Me too. And I'm so glad that you said yes to this crazy, crazy idea. And yeah, thanks for being a friend in the midst of all of this, not only a designer and all of that, but you were a support and a cheerleader. And I really appreciated all that you did to make this happen.
Well, I could not do it. I mean, this is just when whoever told you like, hey, it's time to write a book, kudos, because as soon as you brought it up, I was like, you better. It's time. Like, let's do it. And I can't wait for more people to get to know you and see your work. I've been sharing it with all my friends and coworkers. Like, you have to read this. It's so good. So thank you for inviting me on this journey. It has been uplifting and inspiring, and I can't wait for the next project.
I can't wait. I'm excited. I've got some ideas. We'll set up a Zoom call and, and
just chat. Just a quick one.
half hour or so or whatever. So permission granted out there to everybody. Take a small step, a micro step, as Rebecca said, of permission granted this weekend. And if that's sleeping in tomorrow, that's sleeping in tomorrow. And if it's reading a book and starting a new book, that sounds like a lot of fun too. So have a great weekend, permission granted friends. Thanks for being here and take care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye.